Year 2, it is comprehension time for Wednesday the 10th of February, and we are on the very, very last page of our comprehension book. So after half term, you will have had a new comprehension book delivered. After half term, we've got a new book to look at. So for Thursday and Friday, we are going to, instead of doing some comprehension, do some writing. So we're at the very last page of our Year 2 comprehension book today. And we are thinking, our learning question is, can I answer questions on a poem? So when we are looking at the poem, we are going to need to be our detectives and do our retrieval. We have got a little bit of inference where we are using the clues in the poem to give us some answers to the question. We will be thinking about the vocabulary used. We are going to be thinking about the meaning of some of the words and also about rhyme. Now that gives you a little clue to one of my questions in a minute. And we are going to have to give our opinion, which we are getting really, really good at doing now. Getting really good at giving our opinion on things. I know some of you had some super opinions yesterday on whether you liked the story of the selfish giant or not. Some of you said you did like the story because the giant turned it around and he was nice at the end, and some said you didn't like it because you did not like how selfish the giant was. So we're starting to get really good at giving our opinions and our reasons why, so well done. Okay, our poem then today is called The Monkeys and the Crocodile. Now I want you to have a little look at that picture about the monkeys and the crocodile, and like we always do, I want you to make a prediction. When you're having a little look at the picture to give you some clues, I would like you to be looking at the faces of the monkeys and the crocodile to help you with your prediction. And this is helping us with our inference skills because we are using the clues that we can see to make some opinions, make some ideas, and make some predictions. Okay, so have a little look. You can pause it if you want a little bit of time to look at the front cover. Can you make some predictions what you think might be happening in the poem using the clues from the pictures? And then we're also going to think about poems. So we have done a couple of poems in school before. We did our What is Pink poem where we had our fruit tasting day. Thinking about that poem. And we've also had a little look at Zim Zam Zoom, haven't we, in school? So thinking about poems, you might be able to use what you know about poems to make some predictions about what this poem might be like. So we need to have a chat with your grown-up. What do you already know about poems? When we talk about poems, what do we mean? How is a poem different to a story? We need to have a little chat with your grown-up about that. And we are going to, I have sent over a link to a BBC bite-sized clip about poems. So if you haven't already watched that, you can have a little look at that as well. Okay, so poems then. Poems, you might have said when you've chatted to your grown-up, but poems can rhyme. You might have watched that in our BBC video. Poems can rhyme. Not all poems have to rhyme, but a good feature of poems sometimes is that there is rhyme. When we thought about Zim Zam Zoom in school, we thought about the rhythm of a poem. We thought about reading it using the rhythm, and we also thought about reading it using our voices, using intonation, so we are not reading it in a very boring voice. And we also thought about putting some expression in to make it sound exciting. Okay, so our poem then. Some tricky words. My phonics set, we're going to be really good at that one because we've thought about that in our tricky words today. That word is the word paw. We also had it in our selfish giant text yesterday, didn't we? Paw. Now this word has got our ul ending. So this word is the word uncle. Uncle. You might have an uncle. Your uncle is your mum or your dad's brother. Uncle. Now, we've got this word which is in our title of the text today. This word is monkey. Now, this word has got a letter O making an O sound. Your first challenge that I'm going to give you today is to turn to the text which is right at the very back of your book. And I would like you to see if you can come up with 3 other words where the O makes the U sound. So give the video a pause now. Have a skim through. You don't need to read it all, but have a skim through and see if you can spot any other words where the letter O makes the U sound. Okay, so we'll have a little look which ones they were. So this one then is the word other. The O makes the U sound. Other. So if that one is other, this one is other. Brother. Other and brother. And then we've got tricky word come. Tricky word come. And in phonics my set today we thought about the word coming, didn't we? Tricky because it's got M-E at the end making the sound. So we've got a few words today where the letter O makes an sound. Okay. Just going to think about the meaning of some tricky words because it's going to help us when we read the poem to understand it, and it's also going to help us to answer our questions. And lots of our tricky words today are adjectives, and they are also thinking about feelings, which is going to be important for your questions. So this word then is the word dreary. Dreary. And dreary means gloomy or sad or dull or miserable. Dreary. We might describe the weather as being dreary. It was a dreary day, or your mood could be described as dreary. Gloomy, sad, dull, miserable. Aye. Then we've got this word. This one is weeping. Weeping. It's another word for crying, isn't it? And that's going to be important for our questions later. This one then, got another ed word. We've got id. Makes an id at the end of that word. Wicked. Wicked means evil or bad or naughty. Not just a little bit cheeky. If someone is wicked, they are so bad. Okay, then we've got this word. Merry. Cheerful and happy. If you are merry, you're feeling very happy. Merry. Okay, then we've got teasing. I bet you might already know what this one means, but if you are teasing, it means you are trying to make fun of or annoy. So you're either trying to make fun of someone or you're trying to annoy them. And often it can be done in a playful way, but sometimes if you are teasing someone, you might be making fun of them in a cruel way or trying to annoy them, being a little bit cruel. So teasing. That might have been a word that we might have thought about a little bit when you looked at the picture of the text today. Right, let's see our text then. Here is our text, page 32, the monkeys and the crocodile. I want you to think about when you're listening to me read it, I want you to think about the rhyme and think about the rhythm of the poem. And then I would like to see if when you read the poem yourself to your grown-up, you can think about the rhythm. 5 little monkeys swinging from a tree, teasing Uncle Crocodile, merry as can be. Swinging high, swinging low, swinging left and right. Dear Uncle Crocodile, come and take a bite. We've got our inverted commas, our speech marks around that last part. Dear Uncle Crocodile, come and take a bite. Cheeky, aren't they? Now we're on to the next verse. So the parts of the poem we call verses, don't we? 5 little monkeys swinging in the air. Heads up, tails up, little do they care. Swinging up, swinging down, swinging far and near. Poor Uncle Crocodile, aren't you hungry, dear? Eased in a little bit. 4 little monkeys sitting in a tree. heads down, tails down, dreary as can be, weeping loud, weeping low, crying to each other, wicked Uncle Crocodile to gobble up our brother. Goodness. I want to pause the video now and have a chat with your grown-up about that poem. Have a little chat. What has happened? Have a little chat. Goodness me. Well, hopefully you could hear the rhythm. You could spot some of those rhyming words because we are going to do some questions on those. Okay, and you will also see, and one of our questions is going to be about this, how my voice changed from the first verse to the last verse. How my voice changed when I read it out loud. And I would love to see a video of some of you performing that poem, thinking about the rhythm and thinking about your expression and how your voice might change throughout the poem. So that's one of your challenges for today, to have a go at performing the poem, thinking about making it sound interesting and exciting, and also thinking about the meaning of the poem with your expression and your voice. Okay, give the video a pause. You have a go at reading that as well, so you can get a real good understanding of that. And again, if you would like to have a challenge of performing that, either for your grown-up or on a video for us to see, we would love to. Okay, go back to our practice questions then. So your turn to read. You've had your turn to read. And now we're going to think about our practice questions. The first one says, which word in the poem rhymes with near? Now remember, when a word rhymes, it's because the end of the word sounds the same. Which word in the poem rhymes with near? Now often they might have the same spelling pattern at the end, so it's easy to see. But we do know that lots of words can have alternate spellings. So even though they don't look the same, they could still rhyme. So I'm looking for the word near. Let's have a little look. I can do my skimming and my scanning. Let's see the word near. Okay, so let's have a little look for the word near. I can see that it is here. So swinging far and near. Now, what we have in our poem is that every other line sometimes rhymes. So swinging far and near, poor Uncle Crocodile, aren't you hungry? Dear, near and dear would rhyme. So I would write my word dear on the line. And those ones do have the same spelling pattern. They both end in E-A-R, making ear, don't they? Okay. Next one, which word in the poem rhymes with air? Let's have a little look. You have a look in your poem and find the word air. I can see it just there. So I'm going to read that line and then I'm going to keep reading. Swinging in the air, heads up, tails up, little do they care. They've not spelt the same. They've not got the same spelling pattern, but they still rhyme. Air and care. Well done if you spotted that one. Right. Now, this one is a slightly different kind of question because it's thinking about the meanings of the words in the poem. Find a word from the text that means the same as happy. And we had to think about that in our opening activity where we thought about the meanings of some of those words. Now, they weren't happy at the end, were they, those monkeys? So see if you can find what word did we say in verse number 1 meant the same as happy. It was the word merry, wasn't it? It was the word merry. Find a word from the text that means happy. It was merry. It was merry. Okay. Now, so a little look at your questions from the text there, and then we'll go on to what our challenge is. Okay. First one, number 1. Which word in this poem rhymes with right? Okay, so you're going to find the word right. You're going to read that verse to see which one rhymes with right. The monkeys tell the crocodile to come and take a bite. Do you think they mean it? Explain your answer. So think about what we said the monkeys were doing to the crocodile. Think about if they mean it and see if you can give a reason why. I think they do mean it because I think they don't mean it because. I bet you'll do a good answer for that one. Question 3. Find a word from the text that means the same as crying. Okay, we might have mentioned that one as well. Number 4, what happens to the monkey's brother? Now, monkeys has got the apostrophe at the end, which shows that it is the brother that belongs to the monkeys. Okay, because there is more than one monkey, the apostrophe goes at the end. What happens to the monkey's brother? Now, we found the word brother. We thought about the word brother in the text. So find where that word is and can you write down what has happened to the brother? Question 5 then is about feelings. Question 5 says, how do the monkey's feelings change in the poem? So think about how the monkeys were feeling at the start and then how that changed to how they were feeling at the end. Question 6 then, you're giving your opinion. Do you think the monkeys got what they deserved? Why or why not? So if they got what they deserved, it meant that what happened to them was fair a little bit. If they got what they deserved, it means that what happened to them was fair. So do you think it was fair and they did get what they deserved, or do you think it was not fair and they did not get what they deserved? Make sure you can think of why or why not. So we've got to back our opinion up with some evidence, okay? So for those ones, it's not a right or a wrong answer necessarily, as long as you can think what your opinion is with a reason why. So I do think they got what they deserved because, or I do not think they got what they deserved because. That's your opinion. Okay, so have a little go at those questions. For your challenge then, I've already mentioned that you might want to have a go at performing that poem, and maybe if you would like to, you could send us a video of you performing a verse of the poem or the whole poem if you would like to. So that might be something that you think I would definitely like to have a go at doing. And I know when we performed our Zim Zam Zoom, we really enjoyed that one. So you might want to have a little go at that. You might want to have a see if you can write your own verse thinking about using a rhyming couplet. So see if you can use a little bit of rhyme. So you might want to have a go at writing your own few lines. I've given you a couple of examples that you could finish off thinking about rhyme if you would like to, or maybe you're feeling very creative and you would like to come up with your own. Okay, so I thought of 5 little monkeys sitting in the park. And remember we said where the rhyme is, it was every other line. So 5 little monkeys sitting in the park. Do, 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 do. You'd have to have a word there that rhymed with park. You might want to complete that one. Or I thought of 5 little monkeys looking at the sky. Do, 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 do. You could have a word that ended and rhymed with sky at the end. So if you're feeling creative, if you're feeling like you want to do a little bit of writing and a little bit of rhyming, you might want to have a go at writing your own little verse of the poem, trying to come up with some rhyming words. Okay, can't wait to see what you get up to year 2. And remember, we are looking at some writing tomorrow because today we have got to the end of that comprehension book. So don't start your new one tomorrow. That's for after half term. We're going to do some writing for Thursday and Friday. Okay, well done. Hope you enjoy the poem today. We look forward to seeing how super your learning is with that poem. Well done, you two.